Beyond the basic building blocks that we introduced in the first video, you can use maps and embeds to enrich your story. You see how I've changed my draft story a little bit to reflect the flood risk study. Let's first add a map of Lake Charles. You can either add express map or add existing web map that you have created either in ArcGIS Online or elsewhere. Let's first try the express map option. The Express Map Builder starts with a base map, and you can use these drawing tools to create features and annotation. For example, I can add a location by using the point tool, either just add a simple point or add a numbered point. I can click anywhere to add a point. And here you can add an image for your point, a name, and description. And another way of adding points is to search for a location. And then when the right location comes up, I can add it to the map. This is not unlike what we did in Google Maps. You can also draw lines and areas on the map. There's straight lines and freehand. Similarly, you can define the title, description, and any media you want to use. Alright, if you put any information here, they will show up in the pop-up window when you hover your mouse over it. And you can use annotation to add text directly to the map. You can change its style and stroke up the line, which leads to the feature you want to put the annotation to. And again, you can edit the information here, and the map layers here are the features that you created, but not including the annotation or arrows if you need any. You can add arrows to the map and they will not show up as a layer. Change the color. Okay, you can use arrows to show a sequence of events or a list of locations or draw attention to a certain location. In the side menu here, you can use these three dots to rename a layer. You can delete a layer, you can change its color. And you can reorder points if you're using numbered points. You can delete features where they need those. The options menu contains options like whether you want to allow map navigation in the story. Sometimes it's helpful to not allow this, so you limit the amount of interactivity of your story if you're using this express map to deliver a simple message, such as where Lake Charles is. In that case, you might want to zoom out a little bit to get more context. You can allow or not allow search box. Show the reader's current location, show the legend or group nearby points. You can change the base map here. Right. And we have a map here. So similarly, you see these options. You can change its position, change the size, add alternative text, and you can click this pencil again to go back to the editor. I can also use a map that I already have in ArcGIS Online. You see I created a map here called Lake Charles. So if I add this to my story, this editor looks somewhat similar, but I already have layers here and I don't have those drawing tools. Right? I can only choose which layers to show. I can hide certain layers. That's the water body. Poverty rate, percentage of households without a vehicle. I can also set these map settings, but if I want to further edit the map, I have to do so in ArcGIS Map Viewer. Now, if you haven't used ArcGIS Map Viewer before, now is a good time to explore that. Actually, let's do it here from my content. Okay, this is the web map. Open your map viewer, and this is where I created the map. You see, I already have 3 layers here, and these are the maps I used to create the flood risk layer, including the block group map that I downloaded from Simply Analytics and the hydrography layer that I created by combining rivers and lakes. To add more layers, you can click Add. You can either add a layer that's already online, or you can add a layer from File, which is not too different from what we did in Curdle. You can upload a zip file containing all files of the shapefile. There will be a size limit to the files you can upload. Once you have a layer here, you can change the style by clicking the colorful shapes and their layer name. You can, these options show up when you select a layer. Okay, let's see how to change the style. Here you see I'm showing attribute value 2, which is poverty rates. If you don't want to show different colors by any values, you just want to show the shapes, you can change it to show location only. And then you can click options to set the color. Different color. And then now something is showing through, it's just the layer beneath it. It actually should be completely the same. Okay, you can change transparency. You can also set different transparency by attribute values. Right, so here again you can select one of these fields. Visible range is interesting when you have different layers containing different levels of details. So this is a range, say you only showing this layer within this range of zoom. So currently if this arrow is outside the range, means you can't see it right now. But if I zoom in a little bit, it will appear, right? So can be a useful map option, which is also doable in Curdle, but it will need a bit of CSS coding. Alright, you can click OK to save your changes, but I'm going to cancel as I don't want to change my original setting. The 3 dots here let you further manipulate a layer, like change its name, like remove it, change the order, show labels, or create pop-ups. You can take your time to explore these options. If you want to add annotation or arrows like in Express Map, you can do so by adding map nodes. Okay. Once you add a map node, you see these are the different shapes, text, lines, points that you can add to the map. You can use edit to edit a certain existing layer, including map nodes. You can change the base map here. And analysis contains similar analysis that we could do in Curdle. But again, some of these are not free. Save your map after you're done with editing. And now I'm gonna go back to the StoryMap. Speaking of Curdle, we can also embed a Curdle map in the StoryMap. Add embed. And I'm just gonna copy the link of the Curdle map that I created for the walkability study as an example here. But of course, if you want to use Curdle in combination with this, it should be relevant to your StoryMap. Okay, you see I can interact with my Curdle map just the same as if I were using it in the browser. So now you see I'm showing it currently as interactive embed, but I can also show it as a card. And in this case, you can no longer interact with it. You don't even see the map just on this page, but you have to click it to open it in a new tab. Now the card option is useful if you have already a lot of stuff to show, and if this embed might be useful for some readers but may not be essential to your whole story. So you might want to show some of the content as cards and some as interactive embeds. You can pretty much embed anything, of course, as long as you don't infringe anyone's copyright by doing that. You can link to a web page. Actually, you can link to another story map, right? You can embed one story map within another. You can embed a YouTube video. You can embed a web survey. Remember that survey 1 to 3 questionnaire I created for the walkability study? Now let's copy it here. Right, you see this one is automatically added as a card because not all content allows the interactive format. And in this case, because I didn't share my survey to everyone, I set the sharing option to only to our group, so it doesn't support interactive format. But I can customize what's shown on this card so it's a little less generic. Right now it seems like just a link to survey 1 to 3. Open the options and under display check custom card details, and here you can add the title and description, and you can also upload the image, right, for your card.